Our first surgeon is going to be Dr. Yuri Taktayev. He is Chief of Scientific Research, Department of the Fedorov Eye Microsurgery State Clinic in St. Petersburg, and professor at the St. Petersburg Medical Academy. Here is his patient, white cataract, grade 4, no view of the fundus. This patient has an IQ lens in the fellow eye and now has come back for the second eye and will be matching that eye with a Acrosoft IQ IOL. Yuri, you're on our screen. Welcome to Salt Lake City and San Francisco.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Don, how are you hearing me well?
Yes, very well. We see you and we can hear you.
Thank you. Before I start my case, let me introduce myself and to say thanks a lot for organizing committee to invite me. My name is Yuri Takhtayev. I'm from Russia, from Fedorov Eye Microsurgery State Clinic. We have 11 affiliates all around Russia. I'm from St. Petersburg affiliate. So this is the case with a +3 grade cataract, white cataract. Before I'll start the surgery, as routine, I wash the debris from the eye. Look straight. Look straight. Milolalus. My patient is a Spanish-speaking. I'm going to do microcoaxial cataract surgery. This is the Intrepid knife, 2.2 millimeter. I stay in the clear cornea, go forward, press a little bit, and go forward. So we receive one step incision. And I'll show you my picador technique for side ports, for bimanual irrigation aspiration. It's a technique of simultaneously entrance, the anterior chamber. When you try to do that, your action and counteraction is absolutely equal. It means that the eye globe is very stable at that moment. I put some amount of lignocaine without preserve intracameral. And painted the capsule white, trepan blue. Please be relaxed.
Step in a white cataract, it just makes the rexus not only visible for the capsular rexus, but also during the phaco so that you do not injure the anterior capsule leaflet.
I put some amount of viscose to protect the cornea. I like Steve Arshinoff soft shell technique. So I put now cohesive viscoelastic Provisc more closer to the lens. Next step, the rexis, I stabilize the eye globe by the forceps through the side port. I just start from the center, cut the capsule, go under the capsule. Now we receive the flap. I go by this way, very slowly, because the capsule is very thin. As usual, I do the rexis by 3 or 4 steps. I enlarge a little bit the rexis size. It will be a little bit less than the diameter of the optic. So as usual, it's 5.5 millimeter. But in this case, you can see I go slowly and enlarge step by step. It's okay.
Beautiful demonstration of control during the rexus. You had the eye controlled, and you designed it exactly the way you wanted it.
Thank you, Don. So this is a hydrodissection cannula for cortical cleaning hydrodissection, Akahoshi design. I like these instruments because I can do the hydrodissection. I go under the capsule, push some amount of BSS, and you can see the lens go up. I push it down and try to rotate the lens by the same instruments. and it's rotate very well.
I think having a free nucleus is a very important step for either chop or divide and conquer, whatever your technique is.
Right on. So the next step, the aspiration of the anterior cortex. I'll show you my technique of the carousel technique. So I fix the lens in the center, push it a little bit down. My mode now is the torsional, 100% torsional. I stay near the axis size. And now you can see the lens will be rotate. We try to remove the anterior cortex and grooving a little bit around the lens. Now we have a space to catch the lens for chopping. You wait a little bit, holding the lens, and try to chopping. It's a little bit harder. Change my parameters a little bit. I go from the equator zone and try to chop in again. Okay, try turn around. Fix the lens. Try to divide the lens for small pieces. That's okay. As usual, I divide for 4 pieces, but in this case, maybe this first piece is too big, so I try to change my parameters for quadrant removal. It's a torsional. Move the pieces in the center and destroy the material.
This shows that IT is on.
Yeah. We have the 90% threshold, and the IP is switch on when we achieve the 90% of the vacuum. So the pieces disappeared.
If he gets to 90% of his vacuum threshold, then you'll see that there will be a short pulse of longitudinal phaco, and that's what IT is.
Okay. Try to remove the pieces.
100% amplitude has to do with torsional. Power has to do with longitudinal.
Right, thank you, Don. I try to keep distance from the cornea. You can see my chopper stay in the center all the time and push the pieces a little bit down. And the last pieces, I try to chop. To divide completely.
Handle that. If your technique is quadrants and the quadrant is too big, very nice to chop that quadrant. Do a stop and chop, just like Yuri just did, because it lets you deal with smaller fragments.
And it's very important, Don, for the last pieces, I change the position of my chopper under the piece to protect the capsule for the last pieces. Now it's okay. We remove residual small part of the lens and change.
Yuri, that was a very nice demonstration of control.
Thank you. I put small amount of viscose to decrease the leakage during irrigation aspiration. This is the new 23 gauge bimanual irrigation aspiration from Mexico. I put the irrigation, the first, okay, and aspirate the residual cortex. Polish in the capsule. No, I polish in the anterior capsule by the same mode. I change the hand pieces. Now the irrigation from the right side and the aspiration from the left. I remove some material and some residual cortex from the other side. Okay. Try to keep the anterior chamber stable, but the leakage a little bit more than usual. No, it's okay. And
Really polish the back side of the anterior capsule.
right, and now we try to polish the posterior capsule in the center. It's okay. So we are ready to put the lens. I put some amount of the Provis open in the capsule bag. Put the posterior capsule back. Now the pressure is okay. So this is the 22 diopter IQ lens. Take out from the
2.2 millimeter incision. We'll be using a D cartridge for this.
right. It's very thin lens with a single piece platform. This is the D cartridge. I put the lens into the cartridge so that the both haptic will be on the top. Change a little bit the position of the lens. Put the second haptic on the top of the optic and push the lens forward.
Nice with a clear cartridge, you can see exactly how it's progressing. So there should be no reason to have a damaged lens. You can watch it exactly.
This is the Asica Royal injector with spring for D cartridge. It's a third generation of the injector. So
one-handed injector.
it's one-handed, right. I use the counteraction technique. So I fix the eye globe through the side port, put the D cartridge into the wound, and put the lens forward. Very gentle, under the good control. Go to the anterior, to the capsule back, and centered. You can see it's opening very slowly under the good control. And finally, we aspirate the Provisc. You remove Provisc from the anterior chamber. Wait a little bit because the haptic is opening at that moment, and go under the lens. And remove the viscoelastic from the capsule back. Okay. Center the lens. Remove the residual viscoelastics. Now it's okay.
Surgery. You've done this lady a great favor. Thank you.